With my topic, eye-banking activities beyond corneas. When we look into the keratoplasty milestones, so after Zerm's milestone in 1905, if we look back, there were only few improvements which were made over the next century, and that mainly involved only microscopes, sutures, antibiotics, steroid regimens. But so far as surgical techniques was concerned, there wasn't much in the next, 100 years. But the late 1990s, we saw an explosion of more selective corneal transplantation techniques, particularly in posterior lamellar keratoplasty. As we see, in 1998 came the posterior lamellar keratoplasty, first proposed by Melis, and then DLEC, which was popularized in the US. Price popularized the DSEC technique in 2005, and then it was automated technique of DSEC, which involved the manual technique was replaced by the automated dissection. Subsequently, 2006, we had the DMEC by Melis et al. And then later on, as and when time passed by, in 2000 onwards, we also had the endothelial cell injection therapy, which was popularized mainly because of work of Nancy Joyce in year 2000, and thereafter Kinoshita's work in 2018. In 2002, Anwar and Teekman demonstrated the big bubble technique, and then the lamellar keratoplasty, just like posterior lamellar keratoplasty, the deep anterior lamellar keratoplasty became a very popular technique. So when we look at all these, the eye bank, when they evolved, the initial beginning of the eye banks only involved collecting the corneas, processing, distributing corneas for transplantation to the needy patients. But over time, with the changing practice patterns in managing corneal conditions and the newer techniques of corneal transplantation, the eye banks had an expanded role and responsibilities. And as in when time passed by, many techniques were adopted in the eye bank, as we see. In the year 2006, saw the beginning of the corneal surgery in the eye bank in US. In India, it was somewhere in 2012. So what the eye bank started was the pre-cut tissue preparation for posterior lamellar surgeries, and this was just a natural consequence of the increased popularity of endothelial keratoplasty. This significantly reduced the surgical times for the surgeons in the OR and also reduced the unwanted surgery cancellations because of unwanted events like tissue loss preparations and so on. So while pre-prepared tissue for DSEC is available and provided many eye banks in India, the pre-prepared DMEC is yet to be seen, and however, this is provided by many eye banks in the US. Amnion preparation is one more activity which the eye bank is involved into. Amniotic membrane being a biological tissue, the preparation and distribution comes in the domain of eye banks, and the sterility checks and the proper procedure and the methodology of preparation has to be maintained by the eye banks. Sclera preservation is one more activity the eye bank is involved into, and this is mainly for the glaucoma shunt surgeries and patch grafts, which is required for certain procedures, and glaucoma filtering surgeries. Donor evaluation, earlier this used to be performed mainly by the clinicians and corneal surgeons, but as and when the requirement for corneal transplantation by surgeons' time required more in the OR, this was shifted to the eye bank technicians, and they have started evaluating donor corneas. In majority of the eye banks, it is technician-based evaluation which has taken over compared to the clinician-based donor cornea evaluation. Now, what would be the future activities of the eye bank, which if we can think of what other activities eye bank would get involved into? Now there is a recent interest, and over the last decade there has been promising approach towards translational research technology in management of corneal conditions. So obviously the eye bank role is bound to expand in future, and eye banks may become the delivery source or the contact point for delivery of translational research technology. And maybe in future the eye bank term should be more like a tissue bank, because you will have more of a selective cell-based therapy which will be dispensed by the eye banks, and these could be bioengineered corneas, these could be cultured endothelial cells in future, and mesenchymal stem cell delivery for various corneal scars and other disorders. In the present times, we have realized that our preservation methods in the eye bank are not enough, and we need to have alternate preservation methods, something more like a prolonged preservation technique for the corneas, which can maintain even the endothelium for longer term. So as of now, we have adopted glycerol, but yes, in future there could be other techniques which will be more friendly to the endothelium. The other things for anterior lamellar keratoplasty one may think of adopting in the eye banks would be gamma irradiation and cryopreservation techniques. The core of all iBanking activities remains as auditing activities. We may incorporate, we may do many things in the iBanks, and we may incorporate as and when required what technology based upon the current times. But then auditing remains the core activity of the iBank, and periodic auditing of all processes which happen in the iBank is prudent. One such thing about the pre-cut issue processing, this is a mandate because we have to ensure the safety and quality standards of pre-cut preparation is maintained by the iBank technicians. Review of each step with regard to aseptic measures and the procedural details should be done periodically. The technician-based competency assessment should be a periodic part of the iBank. Any adverse events which occur because of corneal grafting, transplants, with any tissue related issues, these have to be documented properly and investigated by the medical director and the team so as to take an appropriate corrective action and measures. Thank you for your patient hearing.
You are so fast, Sunita. So we can have discussion because I realize that there are only 6 speakers. So we can have 10 to 12 minutes for each speaker. So you have finished early.
Yeah.
So we can start the discussion. So Kuresh, do you have any?
Yeah, I just wanted to expand on, you gave us a very nice overview, and the expanding role of the iBanks is true. We have been trying since last few years, but because of government regulations, we have not been able to bring something called Vision Graft. Vision Graft is a new technology by which they are gamma irradiating the corneas so that all these cells are destroyed, and then we can store it for up to 3 years at room temperature. So we hope this technology will come to India very soon.
Right. I think that apart, there are other, it may not be exactly gamma irradiation, but yes, gamma irradiation has a certain more advantages because the tissue becomes more resistant even to the infections. So
Correct.
that also is one of the advantage, but so far, and yes, because these corneas are irradiated, even there are lesser risk of rejection. So far, I mean,
Absolutely.
even though we have...
They've proven already, they've had a track record of about 6-7 years now in the US, and they're using it routinely for all the glaucoma shunts, and they don't have much use for therapeutic. But I think in our country, it will be wonderful tissue for therapeutic. Every medical college can have 2 or 3 of these kept in their cupboards. Yeah.
Another point I want to highlight that in the recent pandemic era, many iBanks are using one cornea for at least 2 recipients. So there are much more innovative mechanism are coming. So as because we are doing DMEC in our regular practice, so we can have anterior lamella without damaging the anterior lamella and use it for DAL, large therapeutic or large tectonic graft, or as a carrier for Boston K-Pro. So by that, we can use the tissue for the double, some of the cases for 2 recipients. And I think last statistics we have seen in our iBank, our utilization rate is 103%. And we have discarded at least maybe 17% of our tissue. So 93% tissue converted to 103% utilization. So that is way for temporary measures, because we now know that this shortage, acute shortage in iBanking will continue for another 3 to 5 years. And you know what is the collection and utilization ratio in last year, I mean during the pandemic year, April to March, and we actually had only 17,000 collection. The data given by Ganesh, EBA, and utilization is increased actually 73% utilization. Initially, our utilization is close to 46-48%. So last year we had actually more utilization in that sense. So many people are actually using this doubling utilization technique. On also in the coming years, we have to maintain, because the backlog is remaining same or maybe increasing, because we now seeing many patients as we cannot do surgery on right time, and patients cannot come to us on right time, both the sides. So we are seeing the all prospective patients of having good results. We cannot do those surgeries, and we are ultimately doing therapeutic keratoplasty in those cases. Like with Bullous keratopathy, advised, they cannot come, converted to corneal ulcer, perforation, and we are doing. So probably, Shunita, you have had similar experiences. So this is the current scenario.
Yeah, you're very right. So actually, similar kind of thing, and even just the way you highlighted, 103% utilization rate. Ours was not 103, but then it was certainly way ahead of what it used to be in the previous years. We're coming up with some statistics and data analysis related to it, but yes, like there was a shortage, and I'm sure like the way you described, you in a nutshell, you put everything in perspective.